It's that time of year again, folks. We have reached the end of a long year, and it is now the holiday season, and you are looking for holiday gifts to give to your friends, fellow Dungeons & Dragons players, your online DM, maybe even yourself. Well, in this video, I have 5 D&D holiday gifts that won't break the bank. When looking at this list, I think the most expensive thing was like $30 or so. Capitalize on these, and I hope that you find them useful. And finally, I just want to say that none of these are required to play D&D, so if you think I'm going to talk about the books or miniatures, well, these are definitely not those. The first thing on this list that all D&D players or tabletop RPG players need is dice. And dice can be expensive. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. You may have that one friend that only has that one set of dice. However, suddenly there'll be 2 or 3, and eventually they'll become dice goblins or dice dragons, and they will hoard over their massive collection of dice. I recommend getting them dice because that makes the dice goblins happy. These can be really expensive. I've seen dice for $2, I've seen dice for $5, $10, $20, $50, $100, $1,000+ You do not need any of these, but fancy what you think they would enjoy and have at it, because there's a lot of dice out there that are really nice, and you can never go wrong with so many dice sets. The second thing that I have on this list is something for in-person gamers, because these are actually scented candles. Scented candles are actually really good at suspending disbelief, and you're role-playing at a bakery or a tavern and you want to have that nice fresh scent of something food related being made. Maybe you have those snickerdoodle candles that you find at Bed & Bath. They smell nice and they're usually on sale this time of year, so they're pretty nice. I highly recommend it. The third thing that I have on this list are wireless Bluetooth speakers. I mean, we live in the modern world. Everyone's using their phones or their computers to connect wirelessly. Bluetooth speakers are really good. I usually find them a lot in White Elephant games if you're into that sort of thing. It's really nice when you have your Spotify playlist or Apple Music or YouTube or whatever you want to use play in the background, and you don't even need to put it on your computer. And most likely, because your speaker is separated from your computer, you actually have some decent audio, and it's not coming out of those built-in speakers that probably aren't as good. The fourth thing on this list that I want to say is for online DMs, and actually in-person players too, because these are dice towers and dice trays. If you talk to any D&D player, you will know how many times that they have dropped dice somewhere. When I was living in college and we were playing in this lounge area, everyone would always lose at least one piece of their set of dice, and it would go everywhere. But with dice trays and dice towers, they're really nice, and especially when you're an online player or online DM and you have limited space, dice towers are actually really good. And you can actually make these yourself if you're feeling artsy. My only caveat with this though, this is probably the most expensive on the list. Like I said, do your research and try to find something that fits your budget. And the last thing on this list are D&D props. And the reason why I say this is because it really depends on your dungeon master or yourself or your other players and how they play the game. Maybe you have someone who's really artsy and they like to take notes in the campaign. Maybe get them a really nice notebook. I've used a lot of notebooks in my campaigns, even as a dungeon master. I've used this, nice leather bound, not really bound leather, but bound book. And I got this for like $5 at Walmart. It doesn't have to be like a thick hardcover notebook like this. Actually, if you want to even go really fancier, way back a few years ago when I actually started playing D&D, I got this really nice leather bound book to use in my campaign at Earthbound, I believe it or not. That's where I got this. It's really good. I'd recommend it for anybody who's into writing. Also, one thing that I recommend is hourglasses. So I've been using this this way back when I was still playing in person, where if my players were just arguing or talking about something or really just stuck on making a decision, nothing delights me more than scaring the bejesus out of them, and I just put one of these on the table with the sand rolling down. That's always a delight to see. Maybe I'll get some more of these if I ever play in person again, but that's always fun. And the last thing that's actually really cool, and I think online DMs would appreciate this too, are mood lights. So let's say you're playing a game where you're in the Arctic or you're at the ocean and you want this blue tint to your tabletop games. Well, you can get a blue light. Or maybe you have an online DM and their webcam isn't the best. Maybe consider getting them a ring light. This ring light that I actually use for my videos are only, I think I got this one for 20 bucks on Amazon. And they don't break the bank, and your fellow online DM or player will thank you because now you can actually see them. And also, maybe you have a Christmas themed campaign or one shot and you want to have Christmas lights around the table and maybe even some props for them to use in their own campaign. The best gifts for D&D are usually the most creative ones. So I really recommend it. So that's it for this video. 5 unique holiday gifts for your D&D players or your dungeon masters. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you found something valuable from this, please let me know by hitting the like button down below. I try to make new videos every single week. And as always, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video. So, bye guys.
All the 6s!
So, as you jump off...
There's a famous quote. There's a famous quote I have to recall. You jumped off the cliff? It's fine. We're gods.
Level 6, everybody!